Welcome everyone to my new series on YouTube, featuring one of my favorite Japanese SHMUPs made by Rising and Aiding, called Battle Garegga. Now I know there are other games that are made by Aiding and Rising altogether, but most of the time I tend to play Battle Garegga most of the time because not only the soundtrack but the mechanics that are implemented in the game by Rising itself, and of course the crazy soundtrack by Manabu Namiki-sama, and of course the many inspirations that I've been getting from, motivation that I've been getting from most people that play this game, and of course trying to go for the high score and whatnot. And of course that's what inspired me to actually create my own series, although I should have done this a long time ago, ever since I had a PS4 with the game altogether. And of course I have been doing a majority of replays and of course gameplays and whatnot, in spite of the rage that I've been having ever since I got into certain levels that gave me most dilemmas and whatnot. But before we get started with this commencement of the series that I just released this year in 2021, I want to give shouts out to the following people: Icarus FW, Pearl, T3 Kamui-san, SSD Kaide-san, and of course to Kamui-san and Kaide-san, arigatou gozaimasu. And with that said, everyone, let us commence my very first Battle Garegga demonstration video. And of course this is the very first one, as you can see, and today's replay that I have is Gain, and is taking on the entire game itself in custom mode, and of course with a score of over 16 million, give or take. At any rate, let us commence, shall we? So this is done on the 18th of January of this year, and of course I went with the second variant of Gain, which is the B button, which is the bomb button. And of course I love the coloration of the bullets and whatnot, and as usual I always go with the bombs for the tanks. Next I go with these aircrafts, and of course I want my record count to be at least 10, because well if yours is high and of course you're playing in arcade mode and whatnot, the score tends to go a little higher. It depends on the tick points, how many times you hit the enemy and whatnot. Alright, so you got these rails and you got the enemies on the rails, and you can either go for option or bomb. If you hit the enemy by the rear of that freight car, you get the bomb. If you hit the center, you get the option for him. Now in arcade mode, if you get the option for many times, the rank increases by 5%. 0.5%, if I'm not mistaken. And well, actually 5%, yeah. So as you can see, I'm not playing arcade mode, I'm playing a custom mode that does not tamper with the rank. Now remember, just because I'm playing like how Kamui-san and Kaide-san did an arcade edition in custom mode, doesn't mean you should implement the same strategy on, well, it depends on how high a rank you want to go. Because well, how they did, well actually how Kamui-san did, she's very arbitrary when it comes to doing the ranks with Gain. She went for maximum rank and for big scoring, which is pretty cool. And as you can see, I'm going against the nose laughing boss. You want to take out the composite parts for more points. And there are certain tricks depending on what aircraft you use to take out the boss composite points. Like for example, you have Gain. If you see the front two propellers of this aircraft, you destroy the propellers with your shots from the rear. Because well, if you use your swords, it won't score like over 50,000, because well, that's how many points you'll get if you destroy the propellers with the bullets and not the swords. Okay, so you want to actually wreck the aircraft. As you can see, the aircraft is completely wrecked on both wings, and of course you got the front propeller way up front, and of course I think that's worth like 50,000 points if I'm not mistaken. You get destroyed by swords. And you also have the turret, the rocket turret, and if you destroy that, I believe you'll get at least 100,000, or I don't know, but if you destroy the actual core of the missile pod launcher, yeah. Okay, so in this stage I got over 531,000 points. Alright, so the next stage, which is the plateau, the gorgeous stage if you will, the sparkling ocean, whatnot, etc. I want to commit a suicide right here. And of course, you have a little bit of invincibility span, and you'll get the medals from the small pods of the aircraft, the giant Zeppelin like aircraft there. And you want to blast your way through the enemies and of course grab the medals. And of course there's a secret to this, for those who don't know. The pink flamingos, they're worth many points to use your bombs, but use them wisely though. And of course if you're playing arcade style, don't use your bombs too much, because it'll also increase your rank. As you can see, my rank graph is at 25%, and still going steady. Got 2 options, and of course, on level 1, well, actually level 2, bullet pattern. And of course, I'm on level 3 because I collect the big bullet icon. And of course, I'm doing consecutive bombing on the aircraft because they're worth more points. This is a strategy that Kamui and Kaede-san implemented, I believe, and many other Garegga players out there don't want to use Gain. And of course, now for those who don't know, Gain is actually one of the secret aircrafts on the Battle Garegga, along with Cheetah, Miyamoto, and Bornum. They're from a different game called Maho, I think so. So as you can see, I'm collecting the high rank medals, and I have 3 options, and you get the bombers, and I leveled up my shot level. Okay, so I'm shooting the bombs and of course the aircraft at the same time. That's worth 1,000 points each time you execute the operation diligently. And you also got these shooters here. And of course, I love how I implemented the omnidirectional option form to actually check them out from different angles, the wingspan and the turrets at the same time. Of course, you do composite, you'll get the medals, but you do it differently. It depends on what you do it. So here's the Mad Ball. There is a trick to beating the Mad Ball. The first phase is where you earn an extra life if you execute it properly, and it's very well manageable with aircraft that have the identical bomb as Gain. As you can see, I did not. Well, actually, I got an extra life, but usually if you do it like that, you'll get like over 900,000 points. And of course, you can destroy the outer circles on the Mad Ball aircraft, and they're worth 30,000 points each. But try not to shoot too much because you'll also damage the target. You won't earn the points like how you want it to. And of course, if you shoot carefully at the core of the enemy, you'll earn 100,000 points, and you shoot the core again, the inner core, you'll earn 100,000 more points, which leads to 200,000 total on the last phase of the boss. So there's the first set of 100,000 points and the last set of 100,000. And you want to have bombs on the next stage. This is why. At this section of the factory, which is the 3rd stage, you'll see medals from that area that you bomb. And you want to do this diligently. And you can also do this when you have 1 bomb. And as you can see, I missed 2 big medals, which led to lowering the medal rank by a few. And of course, I'm getting close to the max medal rank of 10,000 points. And I bombed the area where you reveal the option, which I did not collect because I already have 4 options. And of course, I did suicide there because I have 5 lives, and I'm getting close to the next extent almost by 700,000 if I'm not mistaken, under 700,000. And if you like have 5 lives and if you go over 1,000,000, you won't get an extra life. You just keep going forward. You have to wait till the next set of 1,000,000 points to earn an extra life. If you only have 4 lives or less, I mean less than 5 lives, to put it into perspective. Okay, so this is the area where you shoot the guns and of course you collect bombs. You don't want to do this in the arcade edition though, because it'll also level up the rank. If you want to go higher on the rank, then be my guest, see if you want to. Okay, so in this section, the mini boss right here, there's a other trick to that. You destroy the composite parts first, the guns, the missile pods from the rear, and of course, it's very manageable with Game because his option shots can pierce through anything. And you also have this section here, where you have the Slayer aircrafts, and of course, if you put the composite parts of the Slayer aircraft at a lower HP level, use your bomb, and of course you'll get more points instead of having to shoot it per se. Like this. Now the propellers on the Slayer take little damage. It has small HP, and so does the part right there. And of course the big one, the long one. And of course you want to make sure you build bombs as you go. Casual bombs as you go. Now as you can see, I only did most of them like by shooting them, instead of just bombing them. Although I did get to the last 2 and I bombed them. Well, actually I didn't bomb them correctly. So once you can destroy the composite parts of this mini boss right here and it lands right there, once you destroy it, you get an extra life. And I bombed the green aircrafts, earning more points. And of course, if you shoot these turrets when they start to rotate, when they're in the middle of rotating, when you shoot them with your bullets, you earn more points, like 2,000 I believe. So now we're closing in on the next boss, which is Earth Crisis. And this trick right here, where you earn a ton more points, first you get the guns at the low HP, from top to bottom, then you use your bomb like this. And of course you earn at least 300,000 points, I think, or 200,000. And of course you got these guns right here. You want to keep at least 2 or 1 of these small turrets at the bottom. And of course you got the rocket pads. Go for 1 or 2 if you like. And of course avoid the bullets as you go. And of course I forgot to mention I got my 5th extra life from that mini boss. So I just keep shooting if I like, and of course getting more points, so that way if I die on the next stage, or this stage possibly, I can go for the next extent. And this process right here, as you can see, as most people know, this is the tick point or milking process, where you milk more points from an invincible part of the enemy, or invulnerable part of the enemy. In other words, this is not activated until you destroy all the required parts in order to release its next phase. So you can at least go for at least a small time, and of course however many points you want to earn in this phase. So I'm still doing that, and of course I'm not doing the same strategy, the funny strategy that Kamui-san pulled off when she was playing this game. She used to place either a Coke can or any object to give her a little break. And of course, speaking of which, you can also take a break when you're in this phase. So closing in at under 40 seconds flat, and of course I'm going to at least go for at least around under 30 or under 20 seconds. But you want to make sure you still kill the boss in order to earn the 100,000 point bonus for killing it. So I'm going under 20 seconds, and of course destroy the last part of destroy the last gun, and of course avoid the bullets as you go. And I'm also going to do an intentional suicide after defeating the boss, because I want to get more bombs for the next stage. And collect 2 option forms, and 2 options. So the next stage is the plant, and I'm going to destroy a few targets here and bomb that pipe where the gunships are coming out, and grab that option form. And of course you want to bomb those 4 circles over there, and where the tanks are appearing. Well, actually reappearing. I also got my special power up back, my special bullet pattern, or secret power as an achievement on the PS4. And of course I bombed the area where they spawn the medals. And I also bombed the tank spawn. The tank spawns also have medals too, so be on the lookout for them. And you also want to avoid, if you're playing arcade mode, you want to avoid collecting too many bomb fragments. And of course big bomb sets, because it will also lead to rank increase, a major rank increase. So there are 3 tank spawns right here. The consecutive bombs. Now, Gain is very good for doing consecutive bombing. Now for Bornum, well, he can do like a bomb like somewhat related to Gain's, but here's the thing, it can be like have a little widespread of bombing, and of course. But unfortunately, Bornum doesn't do consecutive bombing like Gain and Cheetah, because with Cheetah, her bombs take a little more time to be executed. Bomb these submarine areas, and of course carefully execute your procedure on getting big bombs from these tanks. I actually love how I padded this one out, because you'll need the big bombs for the next phase, which will be the metal collection from both the spawn and the beams. And of course I increased my rapid count or firing ratio to 15. And you want to go carefully on this phase on collecting medals, because you got this small version of Satanic Surfer, which is the next boss to knock out. So you have the baby Satanic Server, and you also have the big one, which is the actual boss we're going against. And of course I got a bomb at front of death because I want to do that to execute it to spawn the mini stingrays from the boss, because they're worth 5,000 points. Of course, I did get a little reckless on this one because I died a few more times in this phase trying to shoot this one with this big turret with the bullet. And of course, if you do that, you get 30,000 points. If you shoot the composite part of the turret, you'll get 10,000 points each. Of course, I died right there, and I continue to take out the big turret with the bullet, and not the sword, because if you go by the sword, the option weapon, you'll earn less points than 30,000 with the bullet. Of course, I died right there from not moving carefully from the spiraling bullet from the Satanic Surfer's core. Only got 15 seconds left almost, and still doing the milking process, which is earning more points from the stingray, the small stingrays. Of course, as you can see, I didn't die from there because, well, in this mode, in premium and other modes possible except for arcade, when you hold down the fire button, if you have a full bomb, it's executed instead of death. Okay, so we destroyed the Satanic Surfer, we surpassed over 7 million points, and we're now moving on to the Cloud stage, which is stage 5. I have tried arcade mode many times with Shatterstar, although I didn't get very far successfully because I died by Blackheart, the boss. Although I was very glad that I was able to execute the homing option formation pattern. Okay, so if you come across these bombers here, or whatever they are, you bomb their rear propellers and of course the front propellers because they are worth big points, as you can see. At least 10,000 each. Usually, you can go for the homing formation when it comes to these phases. But for gain, I'm just gonna stick with going regular because, well, it's good for its bombing and whatnot. Wouldn't say just that, but it depends on what route you want to go to. You can go by the option formation, or you can go by just regular. But just as long as you're careful, though, and of course you have enough bombs to execute destroying the propellers and whatnot for more points. Make sure you don't miss the metal too. I missed the big metal on that one, but at the very least though, it only lowered their metal rank by a little bit. This is only applied in custom mode or premium or super easy possibly, but not arcade. Because after you lose that metal rank, you have to start all the way over. And also increase your rank too, because you collect like at least rank 1 to rank 4 of the metal, it increases the rank tremendously. The more you collect them, the higher the rank will increase. Of course, I died here because I thought I pressed the bomb button to bomb the propellers, but I did. So now we're moving on to the little repeat of the bosses that we did, but they've been enhanced. This is the nose laughing. You destroy the tip first with your options like this for 5,000 or 50,000 points, and of course you can destroy the wingspan, or you can damage the wingspan for more points. And of course the bullet pattern for this version of Nose Laughing is different because, well, on the first level, the Nose Laughing bullet pattern was the Vulcan and not the laser itself. And the laser is this indestructible. The Vulcan was destructible, so you want to be careful in this one. And of course the rocket pods are shooting 4 sets of rockets instead of 1, like how it did in the first level. And of course it's much more anguish compared to the first Nose Laughing, so be very careful when it comes to battling these guys. I destroyed the front propeller with my sword, got more points, and of course, after destroying the rocket pod, this comes about. My intention was to damage it a little more because, well, considering that I have like 2 lives left, or 1, this comes for, and I want to make sure I get enough HP for the boss, so that way I can destroy it quickly and not die. Alright, so this is Madball the second. Of course, it too also has mixed patterns, like compared to the first map ball. Although, truth be told, the first map ball is a little more laborious compared to the second one, this one right here. But in this phase, I managed to go for 900,000 points from the bomb execution. Probably because I was supposed to wait till, well, on the first level, in the first map ball stage, the first map ball boss, I was supposed to wait until he lowered down more so I can use the bomb. Of course, I got an extra life there and I died at one point, but no matter, I still got an extra life. So I bombed the Slayer, the last Slayer fighter from the factory. And I bombed the other wingspan of the Slayer. Of course, in this section here, I want to trigger the option formation, the homing formation on the next stage. And to do that, I want to miss at least 5 bombs, 5 small bomb fragments. Only 5, because if you miss more than one required item to trigger an option formation, you have to collect one of them that you're trying to go for and start the process again. Which can be pretty laborious, I know. Okay, so if the Slayer's score at the up top goes real high, you can use that advantage to get more tick points and of course earn more points as you go. But don't do it too much or you'll end up wasting too much time or increasing your rank even more. But you only trigger it each time you go low behind the Slayer aircraft. When it starts to explode, you'll see the remnants of the Slayer aircraft, and you want to use your bomb to earn big points from those remnants. Not your bullets, just your bomb. Watch closely. There we go. And of course, I got an extra life from the Slayer aircraft after destroying it. This is only in custom, premium, or super easy. Whichever mode you want to choose for your gameplay. So I'm going against these mini black hearts, and I missed the big metal. And there's the boss, Black Heart, Mach 1. Of course, I start by damaging the wings for more points first. And of course, I'm under 200,000 points away from my next extend. And watch out for its tracing bullets like this. The first phase is not bad because you can just stand still. Only if you're in a proper position, so you won't die. So I damaged the left wing enough. Now I'm going for the right wing. And of course I want the right formation pattern for the home information to be triggered on the next stage. You don't want to damage Black Heart too roughly, and I apologize for the small pause right there. I accidentally pressed the button on my controller and caused it to do that. So it's on the second phase, and it's doing its spiral movement. The spiral bullets. You want to dodge as you go too, while still damaging the left or right wing, depending on the Black Heart's movement and pattern. And also watch out for its afterburners too. I mean his. So after this set of afterburners, or depending on how much you damaged it, it'll go to the last phase. He will go to the last phase. And of course, one of its weapons is pretty tough to dodge. It's not this one, but you just gotta be careful on this one. You just gotta execute it very well. It's basically the circular symbol on top of the aircraft, where it acts like a shotgun. And of course, the bullets are quick. So it goes to the afterburner phase again. Of course, this time it moves sideways once executed. You can also damage the wings like this too. But just be careful though. Now for Gain, it's very advantageous for Gain to have big scoring in this game. Of course, the part where I get locked in by this, I actually dodged it unexpectedly, and I was like, wow. So Black Heart has been destroyed in the stage. Now we move on to the next stage. Of course, I got a little bit reckless on this part. Well, actually not this part, but the part where you got the 3 Zeppelins, where they spawn metals once you destroy this side pods. But first I take care of these guys with the option form homing. Watch closely as the metals fall, because I already missed a few upon collecting them. Although even though I got the big metal rank, I still go to the under rank because, well, those are the only metals that spawned that came out. I was hoping the big one would come out, but it didn't. But now we're building up the rank again. Of course, I missed another one, which led me to lowering the metal rank once again. So I'm back there. And of course I lost my homing formation, but no matter, we can still progress. Alright, so still pushing through. In this phase, before you get to the blockade, you go against a few enemies that you faced on level 2, level 4, and level 1. These are the level 1 enemies you went against. The previous set was from level 4, and the last 2 was from level 2. So this is the blockade. I always get frustrated in the blockade portion of this level because you got the missile pods, and of course you got the gunners that are firing waves of bullets, and thankfully the slow motion is triggered when you fire, and of course they fire as well. And of course I failed to trigger the milking process for this part of the level because, well, I was supposed to angle my option swords to the top portion of the enemy right there, which is the core, and I went ahead and killed it anyway. So yeah, so now we proceed. I want to trigger the home information again right here. So collect one of those bomb fragments down there, although I died at some point. Well, actually no, I didn't. Well, yeah, I did. Missed the metal, grabbed the homing formation option, triggered it, and of course I bombed a few tank spawns to earn the metals, because only 2 metals can be spawned from those tank spawned once you destroy them with the bomb. But for gain, I wanted to save most of them because, well, I wanted to save them for Blackheart Mach 2 for the bombing frenzy. You'll see why. Most people who play Battle Garegga already know the strategy for being Blackheart Mach 2. Or the trick to scoring big on Blackheart Mach 2. Boy, that laser tank, and of course it's worth the bomb for 50,000 points. But you have to damage it to a certain HP level. It depends on your rank if you're playing on arcade mode. And speaking of rank, I'm on 40% of rank, which is good. Although I would say that it's rather an intermediate rank, semi-intermediate rank in the game. So I've triggered my secret bullet pattern again. The trick to this, you have to have maximum power first. And of course you have to miss 5 small bullet fragments. That right there that just fell. And of course you collect 1, and of course it triggers the secret bullet pattern. And of course I missed the metal again, but I got it extend. So I have 2 lives left. Use the bomb to take out the laser tank for 50,000 points. It turns out to be a major frenzy in this part. Why? Because you got missile pod tanks from level 2. You have the other tanks that are shooting crazily and whatnot, and of course you've got the missile tanks. Of course, some of the tanks kept shooting me and I kept holding the fire button, and it kept making me lose my bomb. Emergency bomb, rather. Panic bomb, yes. So now we're closing in on the amphibian of Battle Garegga called Junkie Monkey. We first start off by avoiding the rockets that come out of the 2 sides, and of course destroying the gunners between, the gunners by the Junkie Monkey. And you got the small guns right here, shoot them down for points, but If you shoot most of them, the Junkie Monkey core will shoot quicker. Okay, so next phase, you got this. Although it's very recommended you have the option formation, for the homing formation to pan this one out, because you want to shoot down the guns that are with it. Alright, so in this phase, this is kind of a bonus phase, but you have to survive too in order to pan it out. And you want to execute this without damaging the core of the enemy too much, because you will not be able to either go for extend or go for a higher score. Since you're going for score, you might want to. It takes time for this game to be completed. In other words, you have to have more time in your hands to actually milk your way through certain enemies and whatnot to earn more points. Now, each army you destroy is worth 10,000 points on the Junkie Monkey. The small guns, I think, are worth 1,000 each. But you want to do this diligently on arcade mode. In other words, don't do it too roughly, because it'll end up increasing your rank. And the only way to decrease your rank is when you die many times. But not too many times, because, well, once you die, you get game over, and if you continue, you won't be able to register your score. Which kind of sucks for those that play Battle Garegga. And of course, they get game over and they continue the game, but they don't have their score registered. That's what really bites. And that happened to me too, actually. So I'm still doing good so far, taking out the arms of the Junkie Monkey, earning more points along the way, getting close to the extent. I'm at least 200,000 points away into my next extend, which is good. I want to have a substantial amount of extra lives, so that way when I die, I can get more bombs. Of course, at some point I think I wasted one bomb because one of the bullets got me. If I recall correctly. Okay, so I'm down to 7 seconds left. And of course I got my extend. So I now have 13 million points. Over 13 million. I never thought we'd get the gist of using the different option patterns so quickly, like where they change form quickly to like destroy enemies from different angles, which is very cool. Okay, so time was out, and of course I destroyed Junkie Monkey before it escaped. Now we're down to the last stage, which is the airport. We've tackled the base, now we're at the airport. And of course we're going against the mini boss called King Crimson. Now here's the thing when it comes to going against King Crimson. There's actually a trick to this. If you leave one of these laser tanks like this one right here alive, it can help you go for the milking process for the next phase. Which is where you destroy the small aircraft and of course earn items and of course earn medals to help build your medal rank. And of course when you get to the next one, well, now here's the thing. Before I got to the third phase of King Crimson, I destroyed this turret right here when it was alive still. And as I got to the last one at the core where the glow squid is released and it commences its escape, it somehow triggered the escape too early, which is odd. So I decided to like stick with the plan and just leave one of the laser gunners alive, so that way it won't trigger again. You want to be careful on this one. So in this phase, I destroy these small drones, and I carefully avoid the bullets and obtain the medals with caution. I love using the Gain aircraft from Battle Garegga because, well, it has excellent speed, but remember, any variant you choose for each aircraft different specs, which is the bullet hitbox, small collision points or big collision points, and of course you have the ship speed. Those are the only distinctions that you have depending on what variant you choose for your aircraft in Battle Garegga. Like I said, as I got to the last one, after I destroyed the one that was alive for some time before I got to the third phase, it triggered the glow squid to circumvent the area unexpectedly, so I just left the one down there alive and waited until the timer went out, and of course I'll execute a bomb right there to earn 500,000 points from the fragments that are spouted out from when the glow squid escaped. Yep. Of course, I don't know how the second bomb was triggered, but no matter. We can still progress. So now we go here, the last phase of King Crimson. And of course, I did a little more milking by destroying the small aircrafts that spawn items, the metals and other items. But I want to make sure that I destroyed the cockpit in time. And of course, I'm close to my next extend after I collect the 10,000 point medal. There we go. So here we go. Destroy the cockpit before it escapes. And here we go with the next boss, which is Black Heart Mach 2. And of course you got the small blue Black Hearts. And they have different bullet patterns. And there's Black Heart Mach 2, the enhanced Black Heart, which has missiles and bombs on the first phase, depending on its pattern that it chooses. Of course, the railgun messed me up, as you already saw in the preview, so I want to provide good commentary on here this time. So I went with the same procedure that I used when I went against Black Heart Mach 1, which is destroying the wings part for more points. And I also, since we're battling against the secondary edition of Black Heart Mach 1, this time it has bombs, which is more points. And of course you got the missiles too, the same missiles that spawn items. Now in this phase, it's not afterburners this time, it's just a bomb drop down. And of course you got this. You want to easily dodge that. Here comes the secondary descent. Use your bomb. And this is why you need plenty more lives for this boss, to get more bombs, because the bombs that it drops, they're worth a ton of points when you use your bombs. And you'll have a higher chance of earning extends. So here comes the third descent. But try not to damage it too much though, because you want to still have that advantage to earn extra lives and whatnot. And of course, here's the intense battle of randomness. In other words, Black Heart's randomness is going haywire. And of course you got the infamous bullet dodger tactic here. But this time you're going left, right, left, right. Only difference for Black Heart Mach 1, it goes wherever it wants to, depending on where you at. Of course I do an intentional suicide for more bombs. Fourth descent. I did surprisingly well on the scoring so far. Although I killed it a tad bit too early because, well, I had the option sword, shoot the front, and of course, considering it had 3% HP. But no matter, I'm still good on the scoring. So we defeated Black Heart Mach 2. I've got more of these drones here, the last wave of drones. And of course we go against Glow Squid. Make sure you're fully powered up for this one, guys. There's Glow Squid. I damaged the wingspan, but I got shot down. I triggered the wide formation, which I don't need. I'm going to do tons of dodging when it comes to going against the glow squid, especially when it comes to the secondary form, which is the 2-weapon type. You have these two, which is the laser and the Vulcan. The glow squid have 5 weapons. The Vulcan, the laser, the spread shooter, which is something that I do not like. Also have the fire bomb, and of course the rocket pad. Certain weapons lead you to a huge advantage because you can dodge them easily and whatnot. Depending on the rank, you want to be extremely diligent, considering that it also has small guns on top of the aircraft, and yeah. So I got 10 seconds on the boss timer left. And as the phase timed out, I managed to actually shoot it down, earn extra life, but I lost one at some point. Right there. Yep. Fortunately, I got a bomb, although I did die unexpectedly as I got to the final phase of glow squid. I didn't know what I was thinking at that point, actually. So this is also the milking phase, and you have a ton of time to beat glow squid. But be very careful though. If you're going for scoring, you want to wait a little long before you actually kill it. But don't wait too long though. If you shoot this last part of the last phase of glow squid, if you killed it, you earn 300,000 points. And of course, my final score was 16,487,060 points. So that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is my first Garegga demonstration. And of course, I might do more of these. Yes, I'm definitely doing more of these. I'm starting a new series on my channel, so you will see more of this throughout the year. So thank you all so much for watching. I also want to thank Icarus FW, Kaide-san, Kamui-san, Pearl, and of course many other players who inspired me to play Garegga and of course do these excellent demonstrations. It is a very amazing game, old throwback classic, and I did look forward to doing more of these with you guys. That said, thank you all for watching. This is Silverreploid CLE, and I'll see you guys soon.